Good morning. Jim Muller from Complete Finance, Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Good morning, I'm Thomas Yip. I am a science insurance broker. I work here for 12 years.
Good morning, I'm LSE, coming from Harris Fraser, Hong Kong, and I look after Asia Pacific business.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Claire Lau, and I'm from Hong Kong, and I'm the director of Harris Fraser Group.
Good morning, my name is Yasumi Obishi. I'm from Hong Kong, working for Harris Fraser as a Japan team head.
Hi there, I'm Jun Soo Park from Harris Fraser, Hong Kong. I'm in charge of South Korean business.
Hello, good morning everybody. I'm from Taiwan, Harris Fraser. I work in Harris Fraser for 10 years.
Thanks for coming. It often amazes me that anybody would care to spend any time listening to what I have to say. So you give me a big face and make me feel real good. But you understand that I'm just a hard-working guy. So if you were expecting a SWOT presentation that was incredibly detailed in what government risks were, what the government says opportunities were, what other corporations are doing, that's not what you're going to get. But what you're going to get is my experience here. And I've been here for a year. I showed up 1 year ago. I had a briefcase, literally, in Thomas to introduce me to a couple of people. And the people that he's introduced you to are highly influential, not just because of the position, but they really want you here. And they really appreciate when you develop economy inside there. So they're helpful beyond anything that you can imagine. And the opportunity is more than they even understand. So the topic was SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So let's talk about that, because you wouldn't be looking at the strengths of Cambodia per se, you'd be looking at your own strengths. And when you come into this country, identifying your strengths becomes relatively easy when you compare yourself to the environment you're in. Product lines, offshore opportunities that aren't readily available to the local investors, retirement plans that are a newer concept to the new income earners, that really they're emerging rapidly. People have money and they don't know what to do with it. And you've got a strong brand name, which is an important thing. But I think most important is this, the perception that the Cambodians have that you're special. You know that Japan is really cool in Cambodia, and South Korea is incredible to Cambodians, and Hong Kong and China are amazing to Cambodians because they're emerging from really destitution. And when you have that long-term economic background and you've set the culture of Asia, it's a big deal. Taiwan is spectacular. So I think that the biggest strength you have is just who you are. And you don't want to miss it. If you don't use that to your advantage, you just become normal. You become like everybody else here. The weaknesses, different. They're universal. There's a growing economic population that's ill-informed here. So their information on what business is and what income earning is so archaic. It's almost a stone age. When I train my own staff, it's true. I train my own staff in business principles and what we expect to accomplish. And for 1 year, there's not one of them till now. Now they're starting to believe, right? But for the last several months, and I would say, look, this is going to happen. We're going to be doing $1 million in business a month. We're going to do $1 million in business a week. We're going to do $150,000 to $200,000 in business a day, while we were doing zero. They couldn't have that conception. And even when it started to happen, they were, and still are, always afraid that this is the last day of it. So they have a hard time with the long-term thinking, and it's our job as investment advisors, and it's our job as retirement planners to help them to think till tomorrow. And that is a difficult thing. You have to have a lot of patience. I mean, a lot of patience. There's new companies coming in often that they're not fulfilling their promises because they have a short-term mentality on their money. I've heard stories from the director of the SECC here of companies coming in from China raising $170 million in a few months and leaving and disappearing on a pretty regular basis. So there is a competitive dark side that you have to overcome. And the reason you have to overcome it is people are wondering, are you that guy? And it really took me to be here 5, 6, 7 months before people realized he was not running away. He didn't take the money and run. So there is a weakness over here. And another weakness that I found with companies coming in is there's a tendency to think in an old technology structure. So we have decades of financial planning backgrounds, and we have literally between the centuries of it. But it's a new world, and one of the things that was a weakness is also becoming an opportunity, and that's as the population is increasingly becoming educated and consumer driven. And their education didn't start where ours did, it started today. If you can imagine a newborn investor would have never thought of a mutual fund ever. There's a lot of things they would have never conceived of, nor do they have any interest in. But they have interest in the newer technologies and the paradigm shifts in technologies. So that opportunity, I think, is strong. Liquid capital is everywhere. People don't know what to do with their money. I was at the bank with my secretary the other day doing payroll. People came in with literally millions of US dollars in cash, millions of US dollars in cash to deposit in their savings account. And I thought, that's going in the wrong account. But here's the thing, there's so much capital, and the controls on the capital are so light that people are just collecting it and holding it. And if we can tell them where to direct it to increase it, they're going to do so. But they're not going to trust you for a little while. Once they do, you literally can't get rid of them because they have so much capital. The government here is stable and extremely supportive, so that's another opportunity here. I sat down with leaders from every department of every ministry, and I did have a lot of questions to answer, but once those questions were answered, there's nothing they didn't come forward with. And even the things I didn't think I needed or want, they gave me. So you will not have a difficulty doing business in this country, either in the regulated side or the unregulated side, as long as you treat the people well. Finally, the competition here. This is such a great opportunity because the competition here is generally just a bunch of old people with no ideas. And when I say that, I'm an old guy too, so I don't say that knocking the old guys, but there's such an old-fashioned thinking, and they don't realize how excited the young population is here, and that's where the wealth is. And it's an incredible opportunity for everybody when you come here to be innovative and different. If not in the product itself, though I suggest it's in the product, in your own marketing. People want to have some fun, and they want to reach their dreams, and they want to do it in ways they don't know how. So that's our job, and if you're a little bit innovative, the competition here, they're just lame. They're opening doors and putting up signs, and because they're local, the local people that know them show up. But the younger generation who is creating a lot of wealth, they don't show up. You got to actively go after them. Threats. This is the last of the boring programs, right? But it's important. It's important to know what you're up against. The competitors here, I just talked about their lack of skill. They generally also have no ethical standard at all. It's not that they're good or bad or right or wrong. They just have never been taught ethics. They don't have a business ethic background. So, though I wouldn't call it evil, the result is. What they will do in what's happened to me is they won't spend time to recruit and train staff, but they'll watch you do it, and then they'll offer incredible incentives for people to jump over there and steal your client database without even trying to hide it. So the competition will come right to your staff and say, why don't you grab your client files and come over here, and we'll give you $1,000 for your client files. And if they're thinking short, which many people are, you have risk in that. So that is a threat that I take pretty serious here, and we guard our client files, and we make sure that they are walled and protected on a constant basis. It's a shifting world of technology and rapid wealth development. Innovations are constantly emerging, and we should be aware of them and try to participate where appropriate. A lot of the old standards don't work. They don't work because they're presented in the old way. So be a little bit excited over here. These people, they will love you. They love to see Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, Japanese, and even Americans, because their expectation is we have experience. So you want to use that to your advantage, but also know that the competition doesn't like you very much. The local competition will, they will be at your door, and they will steal your clients, your employees, and all your training manuals. So you just don't want to be blind to it, and nor do you want to be blind to the change. I think the biggest threat that the financial services industry has globally right now, so it's here also, is we're not always cognizant how fast things change, how fast we will lose what we work for. And I use as an example of that vinyl records, which you guys probably never played vinyl records. Probably you didn't either. But I did. I'm the old guy in the room. Right? You remember vinyl records? You played music on a record player. We call it Motown in the United States, which is Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan was the capital of Motown. We built all the cars and we produced all the music. Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 came out of Motown. And record players and vinyl records made hundreds of millions of dollars for Motown. They powered the finances of that city. And then the cassette tape came out. We all remember cassette tapes probably, you pop them in. Well, the record producers held on to the old way because it paid well and they were used to it. And they went out of business and it caused poverty throughout that city. And cassette players and manufacturers became the music purveyors. They became multimillionaires. And then CDs came out. We all remember CDs. We still probably have some of those, right? Well, I will tell you this, that there's nobody under 25 that has CDs. Nobody. Now it's streaming music. So what you saw was an industry, the music industry. The music industry continued to grow and continued to make money and has done so even today and is still doing so. But the record producers are broke, and the cassette player producers are broke, and the CD producers are broke. And what happened is that wealth continually transferred from medium to medium, but it's the same product they were delivering, which is the music. So we deliver financial security, and we help people fulfill their dreams. If we don't change with the industry, we end up a record producer or a cassette tape producer. So as I've seen this business metamorphosize throughout the last couple of decades, those people that innovate the most make the most money. And it's amazing, the people that innovate aren't necessarily who you would think are innovators, but what they are thinkers. So it's the way we think that determines what we do. So I'm going to end this on this note. As a man thinketh, so is he. And that goes for women too. All right? So thoughts always create action. And that action always creates a result. And that result creates the lifestyle. So this is not SWOT. This is Jim Muller. All right? This is my advice to you guys if you come here. Come here thinking different. All right? So when you have the right thought, you detail your plan, detail it with as much detail as possible. And that detail should be a time frame, an amount, and it should be incredible. It should be more than you ever did, because Cambodia will give you more than you ever got right now. It's an emerging market that's all the markets are coming to right now. And the government is saying, come on, bring your investment, bring your expertise. So detail a plan well beyond what you've done in the past. I don't care what you've done in the past. I know you're a big shot. I looked you up. That doesn't matter. If you make the move, make it for a reason, not to be the same. And what will happen is this: we put our thoughts into an action plan, and we work the action plan. And once the plan of action is devised, you can check it. You can make sure that every action can be tracked and evaluated for its success. And when we track our actions against the success desired, we can constantly reevaluate and change it. And it gives us the ability to either increase our actions or to change them as needed. And what I found is this, that if you set this action plan the way my company did here, and I'm not talking at my company is a great company because of the people in it. But those people are great because they know what they have to do. There's an action plan, and we can track it every day. We know exactly how many calls we need to make every day to get so many interests. We know how many interests we need to have, so how many close. We know what each closed deal is worth in money. So we can plan our future by our actions today. And when you have a good action plan, you can change that action in a minute if it's not meeting the results you have. So I know that you and I will work together. We have a goal that immediately we have to hit. So we will. And we'll take the action we have to take to hit. Well, we do that every day. We know exactly what the plan is, and we work the plan. If we don't get the results we want, we'll change the action. Results. Thoughts equal actions, actions equal results. And our actions create those results for good or for bad. If we aren't receiving the results we desire, we know it's always our actions alone that need changing. Our actions alone that need changing if we're not getting the results we want. We can blame the economy, we can blame the competition, we can blame the lousy employees who we love, but on occasion have that talk with them. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you excited? And I know why they're not excited. They're thinking wrong, right? So everything goes back to that thought. But our results can always be attributed to our actions, and our actions are always derived by our thoughts. And we can change our thoughts anytime we want. Everybody in the room is capable of doing that. I have a desire in my company and with the people that I work with, and I let them all know, I support poor people. We donate to causes. We pay our tithe to the church. We do mission work here. We do a lot of that stuff, but we will not be poor people. And we will not associate in business with them. So that doesn't mean everybody's rich. But our result in our company is this, that we want to bring everybody to financial security. The only way we can do that is with our clients. When our clients succeed, we succeed. And our clients now, a year later, send us their friends almost every day. Almost every day. So what I found is if you help enough people get what you want, you end up getting what you want. And that's the result we look for. And what I like the most about this Jim Muller plan for life success is this, that the results determine your lifestyle. So when we create the results we desire and we work for this creates lifestyle for both our clients and ourselves, and that also is for good or for bad. your lifestyle. If you don't like it, you can change your thoughts and you can change it. Our own thoughts are going to determine it. If we're not meeting our objectives, we are simply, what, thinking wrong. So you've come into a country to look at it. I don't know the objective of country managers coming to look at a new country. I don't know, is the thought to combine over here? Is the thought to just see what's taking place in another market? But I will tell you this, that since you're sitting here, when you leave, I want you to go with this one thought. This is the easiest market I ever worked in, period. When I opened my office in Thailand, it was the easiest market I ever worked in, period. When I worked in Hong Kong, it was the easiest market I ever worked in, period. And the reason is, that's the thought you want to come in with. And when I say easy, I don't mean lazy. I mean, come in with a plan and work it for a year. If you work in Cambodia for a year, which I just did, and I can tell you I have at this table a witness to me arriving with no place to live, no car, a briefcase, and an introduction, and a desire to see what I could do here. A year later, we're doing $1 million plus a month in revenue. And it was the easiest thing we ever did, as long as you don't look at the first 10 months. But for 10 months, what we saw was what we would be a year from now. So that's the SWOT talk in a snapshot. And I appreciate you coming out. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But I hope that you get that one thing out of it. As a man thinks, that's how it would be. So think big.